Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Brian Natta with you on an absolutely beautiful Friday afternoon here in Hollandale Beach. Fast main track, firm turf course. Take note the rails are going to be out at 59 feet this weekend, and the rainbow starts anew after we had a mandatory on Sunday. Ronnie was flying solo on Sunday as I was up in Laurel, and we were kind of ships in the night on Wednesday. As I'm back here, Ronnie's up there of Preakness 151 tomorrow. He's on there today, but Rainbow, as I mentioned, on a 9-race Friday card, kicks off in race number 4, and we will start that pool anew. I do see that they are prognosticating $50,000 in the estimated jackpot. Good, strong turf racing throughout the weekend. We've got double turf stakes tomorrow. I want to remind you right now, and I will do so throughout the day, we have adjusted post time tomorrow. If you're not in the loop, and I was barely in the loop until about this morning, we are a 1 p.m. post time tomorrow on an 11-race card. So that's kind of sort of going to belly everybody up right up to Preakness 151, which I believe is a 7:01 post time. So we'll kind of take you there tomorrow, a 1 p.m. first post time. Will remind you throughout the day. As I mentioned, that rainbow in race number 4, but the early pick 5 kicks off in race number 1. We're on a firm turf course, as I mentioned. Rails out at 59 feet. A couple big scratches in the 2-year-old dash in race number 2 today. Let's take a look at my early pick 5 ticket, and then we'll get back into the opener. I would think Zenek is going to be a short number. He is right now in the opener, so we'll put him on top. The 2 big scratches, the Carlos David runners, are out of race number 2. So I always had them in second, third, and fourth, so that's not a big deal for me. The 4, my kids said no on top. The Invader for Tina Birdwell. In race number 3, let's go to the 6, and that is Shisputa. We'll show you when. She was good last time. She had to earn it and didn't have an ideal trip, and she still got it done. In race number 4, I'm on the 3, Sean Knows Dancing for Ronald Coy, a second-time starter. And on the turf in race 5, which also kicks off the TT pick 3, I'm on the 3, Planier Champagne. Let's see if she can turn the tables on the 2, No Other Like You, after they ran 3-2 against each other last time. We'll kick it off on the turf in the opener. As I mentioned, the rails out at 59 feet today. It's a 17.5 maiden claimer for 3-year-olds and up. No scratches. Do take note the 4, and that is Rodham, has blinkers on today. The second-time starter, Rodhan, has blinkers on for Ronald Coy. You can see the short number right now on Zenek, and he just looks like the right horse in here. I know he's a gun runner, and they're not very good on the turf. They're under 10%, but he takes a little bit of a drop. For Amador Sanchez ran pretty well when he was 3rd for a quarter last time, which was off the claim for Pletcher and the Wertheimer brothers, off a little bit of a layoff as well. So 2 things going on here. He's second off a bit of a freshening, and then also he's getting out of the championship meet in those razor-sharp turf races, and he's running against a much, much easier field today. Zenek is supposed to break through here. I'll single him to kick off the early pick 5. The 8 is Be Wiser Bob, and he gets Sammy Camacho today. Heather Smolin calling the shots here. 3 solid routing to Peter runs. Now, Heather's not really a turf barn, just 4% on the turf, so that's not ideal, but we get an ace jock here. We get a good outside attack post, and we have a horse that has solid 2-turn form. So Be Wiser Bob, I think he's the main danger, but he's definitely looking up at the 3. Midnight Approval is on the inside for the aforementioned Tina Birdwell. Good to see her name popping in the entries here with Tampa closing down. This is a horse that came back at Tampa off a 14-month layoff. Didn't run all that poorly when 7th, beaten just 6 lengths. Now, this is a tougher group, obviously, when you cross the state and head to Hollandale, but that race was pretty sharp in and of itself when you consider the layoff here. He's going to be sharper. He's going to be tighter today. I don't think that's going to be good enough to win this race, but it should be good enough to at least put him in the mix for a piece of this. Race number 2, as I mentioned, the 2-year-olds going at it here, kicks off the early pick 4. These are fillies. Big scratches of the 2, Touch of Honor, in the 5, Sheila Magic. The 2 Carlos David runners are going to be out of this race. We had workouts to show of them too, so hopefully we see them pop soon. They'll be out today, but as I mentioned, I always did have the 4. My kids said no on top for Tina Birdwell, and this is the first runner, well, at least to my recollection, that was sold earlier this year as a 2-year-old. And they paid $70 for a daughter of Omaha Beach. And I know Omaha Beach stands for 75, so that's not always the greatest sign, but there's a nice pedigree to go with this purchase price here. The dam was 5 for 9 in her lifetime. She won her debut, and she was a real crack New York bred sprinter on the main track. She won a couple of stakes and over $230,000. So there's some precociousness in pedigree as well. And the other thing that I really think tips the hand of the 4 is the Bullet at Tampa on April 18th, 35-3. Now that is motoring. Tampa, a very sandy, kind of thick dirt surface. That is motoring over there, and that tells me, A, that she's fast, but it also tells me, B, there's a lot of intent here. And we see these 2-year-old in training purchases quite a bit here at Gulfstream Park, and I always think, and it's certainly not the end-all, be-all, but I do always think and feel that when you buy a horse that is a little more forward than everybody else, being that they went through the sales, being that they worked quick over there, I think they're ready to roll. And I think the screws are tight because you want a quick return on your investment. I think that's what we're getting today with My Kids Said No. The outside horse, Sisu Spirit, clearly a big hitter here for Mary Leitner, the homebred. It has worked okay. I couldn't find anything online. That's unfortunate. Mary, as good as she is 0 for 16 with first-time starters. And when you're an outside draw, especially as a 2-year-old, these horses have a tendency to break out a little bit. I don't like that, but we do have a watered-down field now with the 2 big scratches of the David runners. So I think that's going to help Sisu Spirit. If it's not the 4, it's the 6. I'd be very surprised if it's anyone else. The 3 is Melody Queen for Ramon Ninguet. I will mention a little bit about the barn. You see this barn is just 1 for 12 on the year. This is a barn that, and you can see that in the stats, is a lot better than that, and is, should be, at least I would hope, is going to be a lot more active now that the championship meet has ended. It's a barn that is 31% with 2-year-olds, 26% on the main track from limited starters, but is a very, very solid barn. If the money shows, maybe elevate Melody Queen here, especially if you're looking early pick 5. Take a look at those double will pays as we get close to post time in the opener. Race number 3 on the Tapeta here in a sprint, a snappy 5 for fillies and mares. 3-year-olds are up or 4 and up, which have never won 2 races. These are all 3-year-old fillies. So just take note of that. No older runners in this field. And I am on the 6, Shisputa, and we can bring to the first replay of the day. Here's a daughter of Chance It that really ran well last time. Ran a lot better than a neck victory kind of belies here because she's down inside. You're going to see her kind of forced to idle here. The chart doesn't pick up on it. She is ready to roll here. She is ready to burst through for Jose Morelos, and she didn't really have a clear run of it down on the inside. He's got to wait a little bit to go to the outside. He's kind of all in here, and she does this the hard way. She guts this out. It was a very impressive win. I was very surprised she wasn't favored in this spot. You can see Mimi Willie passes her here, passes her relatively comfortably. And the other thing that I really like about this effort is that when you get pushed down to the inside on the Tapeta, it's just not where you want to be. Not only from a tightening up standpoint, as you got a gal lapped to your outside, but the inside can very often be a little sticky and be a little quicksand on the Tapeta. That is a game effort right there from Chisputa. And today we go from an inside trip at least to an outside draw. She gets all the best of it. We also go off the claim today for Bobby DeBona, and Bobby's got his mojo back now. He's 4 for 11 at the meet. He's 24% all told off the claim, and the barn is firing again after kind of laying in the weeds a little bit during the championship meet, which you kind of can understand. Well, it's all systems go now for DeBona, and he is firing. The rail is the one, Chucky's Ride, and honestly, it wouldn't shock me if she's the favorite in here. It's Cassie. They like to bet this barn. In the Tapeta race, the only time that she was on Tapeta was 3 starts back in what was a very solid state-bred 1X. Very fast race for that kind of level, too. Very fast figure that day. Now, you tread a little lightly on the figures on Tapeta, but she ran well. The problem is she very likely will have to see this out as the inside speed. And you look at this race on paper, there's a lot of it to her outside, and she's really going to have to earn it from down there. If there's a meltdown, and it's not out of the realm of possibility, Lady Chance, the 7, is going to be in a right spot, hitting the far turn for Gary Jackson. She got to the Tapeta last time and really woke up. A good second-place finish at 16-1. That is long gone today, but on paper, and we don't run these races on paper, she is eligible to trip out very, very nicely, close enough to the speed, but not close enough to kind of get zapped by it. So I think Lady Chance, if you're looking for a little bit of a price, I think she should offer it. Give her another look, especially underneath. But I do think they are all looking up at the 6, Chisputa. 3 down, 6 to go on this Friday afternoon card. We'll take a little break. When we come back, Rainbow 6 time. I got the tickets this weekend as Ronnie is crab caking it up there at Laurel Park. Stay tuned.
Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access past performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
There comes a moment when the next adventure is yours to choose. Imagine your next ride, not to another destination, but to a world you step inside. My Racehorse makes real racehorse ownership possible, with top trainers and accomplished owners in the sport's biggest races. Access once limited to a few, now open to you. This isn't a single race. It's the start of a lifelong pursuit. Begin the journey with My Racehorse.
We'll welcome you back to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau flying solo this weekend. Ronnie's up at Laurel Park for Preakness 151 tomorrow. That card is going. We'll open tomorrow early at Silks as well. What a fun Preakness, too. Loaded race. One of the most competitive races in recent memory, Triple Crown races, Preakness races, to be sure. Rainbow, as I mentioned, race number 4 will start anew today after they fired hard on Sunday. I got to give our guy Alfredo props, and he does such a good job. He hit this thing on Sunday for a big number. So Alfredo Alonso, congratulations, buddy. I hope he hit everything, I believe, on Sunday. So that's good. He does a lot of good work with us here and on the video side that we tape before the races. So appreciate that from him, and a job well done. Let's take a look at it today. I think they are estimating $50,000 in the jackpot today, and it'll be solid because they're going to be betting all over the place today, and I think the pool will be very, very healthy. I always say it. Ronnie always says it. Jump in. Great time to get involved. If you like a price here today at Gulfstream Park, jump in. You will get rewarded. You'll have a chance at sweeping this thing if you have yourself a day. Race number 4, 3 deep for me. Race number 5, I'm on the 3, as I mentioned earlier, Planier Champagne, trying to turn the tables on the 2. No other like you. There's my single low-hanging fruit, but Justina's going to be heck to pay in there in race number 6. I'll show you why. With the replay, race number 7, I am on the 7, and that is towards the outside. My Denise right back. She was my long shot last time, ran so well getting back to the turf. Race number 8, 3 deep in that spot. I'm on the 2, Send Cash for Dave Fox. And in race number 9, it's a big spread for me. 5 deep, including my long shot, and maybe we'll use that term loosely. I'm not sure if they're going to bet T at 1 or not, but that is the 1 on a switch to Steve Claceris, and a huge class job getting off the turf from the championship meet. Been freshened up. There is a good key scratch in there as well. $54 on my Rainbow, and as I mentioned, estimated at, I do believe, $50,000. I would think there'll be no problem getting to that. Let's start it off on the Tapeta. In race number 4, we're going 5, 17-5 maiden claimer. Maidens 3-year-olds and up. Scratch the outside horse to 7. Don't go astray. I'm on the 3, Sean Knows Dancing for Ron Coy. Thought this horse ran pretty well in his debut. An older son, a 4-year-old son of Cantharos, debuting in March of your 4-year-old year. Obviously, there were some things going on before this horse finally got to the races, but when he did, he was a very, very good third that day. He was beaten just 2 lengths. The runner-up, War to Remember, came back and finally broke through, did it the right way. Velociraptor, who won that race, he's okay. He's going to make some money in the lower-level claiming races. Sean Knows Dancing, I think, is in a really good spot here for Ron Coy, Bruno Schickendas. We know those colors so well here at Gulfstream Park. I look for a move forward today from him. They're going to bet Kraken. I don't see any way around it. He's the 2. It's Orsino. It's DJ coming out of turf races where when you're running for 35, you're running for 50 optional claimers, those fields are so much better than what he's facing today. Never been on the turf. He has been routing in his last 2. So that can be a little dicey when you cut back on the Tapeta, because they're going to go so quick in this spot. Does he get run off his feet a little bit? You can argue that his best lifetime race was the turf sprint on February 6th. So he's got that feather in his pocket. He's 7-5 on the morning line. They love to bet these connections. Wouldn't shock me if he's lower than that. He's an absolute must-use. I just wonder/worry if he's a little vulnerable today for a couple different reasons. I'll put him in second. Let's take a look at the 4 Leo's Rocket, who I thought ran pretty well for Heather Smullen. In for a quarter last time. He was facing just 3-year-olds. But watch what he's got to do here. He's the inside speed, getting nagged the entire way by 7-1 Finding Candy. He ends up being beat 2 1/4 lengths. What about Finding Candy, you asked? Dead last. So that's the type of effort that really flatters Leo's Rocket. When the horse he was dueling with for 4 furlongs completely drops anchor, he puts the cue in the rack and he calls it a day. So I think this was a really big effort from Leo's Rocket, and it kind of goes a little bit overlooked because he does fade to be third. You can see he's a tired racehorse right here. There's no doubt about it. But conversely, let's look at what's going on today. I don't really think he's got to work that hard on the engine today to get to the lead. And maybe if he does, maybe he gets brave. And also, he's cutting back from 5.5 to 5, and that is a big, big difference. He's going to have to essentially run about 8 seconds less. And if you want to backtrack a little bit, I know it's a little dangerous to do that. He would have been a whole heck of a lot closer. I think he's a player in here. If he can break running, maybe he gets a little brave. Weight allowance with Louis Fuamayor. Good to see him back here at Gulfstream Park. He's getting 12 pounds from the top 2 choices in here, the 2 and the 3. That is a big, big deal when you're just going 5 furlongs, to be sure. We're going to kick off the late pick 5 and the TT pick 3 today in race number 5. 7.5 on the turf. It's an optional starter, optional claimer here for fillies and mares 3 and up. Scratch out the 1 Starship Elation, scratch out the 5 Garuda, scratch out the 12 Halfin. The 11 Motown Diva draws in, and she will run. And this was a bit late. Diego Herrera, and boy, what a job he's been doing around here. Kudos to him. He's going to pick up the mount on the 7, and that is Logistics. Herrera on the 7, Logistics. Let's just take a look at the TT pick 3 that I put up together here, because the late pick 5 is a run back of my rainbow. $3 minimum, 15% takeout. This is a great, great bet, and it routinely, pretty much always, pays a lot more than the parlay. I'll take a stab for 48 today. We'll get to this race in a second. Race number 7, I have got the 7, my Denise on top, and as I mentioned already, in race number 9, it's my long shot down on the inside, and that is the 1, T at 1 for Steve K, who's going good again. We knew he would. That's a $48 TT pick 3 ticket kicking off in race number 5. Let's get back into it. To me, I thought it was pretty difficult to get around the 2 morning line favorites. That's the 2, No Other Like You, in the 3, Planier Champagne. Now, also Logistics, the 7, was 4th in this race. Let's show it to you, and then we'll get back into this. I'm going to try for a little bit of a form reversal with Planier Champagne. No Other Like You went ballistic early, and she ran by far the best race because she is freewheeling on the lead, and I know they go quick on this turf course. We all know that, and I know speed holds. We all know that too. But she went 22 flat in 45 and 3. She's a 25 starter allowance horse. This is hellacious on the front end, and she did everything but win, and she couldn't quite hold off Acheron at 6-1 for Timmy Hills. But this is a power effort. And you're probably asking yourself, well, why would I pick against her today? Well, the problem is, how hard did she run? She completed completely fried my top pick, Planier Champagne, and she completely fried Logistics as well. She won the battle. She lost the war. I'm just kind of thinking to myself, can she go back again to the well and do it all over again? Dave Fox, who's better than Dave? What a run he's been on, and it's just foolish to kind of go against him. But I'm going to take a shot in here. I don't think there's a chance Viking Quest, who I don't have in my mix here, there's a chance Viking Quest on the stretch is a real problem for No Other Like You. So I'm kind of hoping they hit hard early. Even if they don't, I've got to believe that this effort comes back to No Other Like You. We saw it the other day with Late Fury, who came in off a total romp for Fox. When he went fast early on the Tapeta and he just blasted everybody, boy, did he pay the price the other day. Maybe it happens with No Other Like You. It's why I'll try to reverse it with Planier Champagne. Logistics is not out of this. And she gets a big move today to Diego Herrera, who we've talked about has been riding lights out here. So she's a player too. I mentioned the 6 Viking Quest. I'm also going to mention the 4 Rakya. 2 horses stretching out, chasing wild splits on the turf that are drawn outside No Other Like You. I have to believe Edwin Gonzalez on the inside is pot committed with No Other Like You. He can't take back. He's got to go. He just lost by a neck last time trying to wire the field. She's on the point here. Those 2 gals to the outside on the stretch out. They might see a first turn for the first time and get a little amped up. You've got speed, cheap speed with the 8 in timing as well. She just wired last time. She's been free on the lead 3 starts in a row. You're kind of getting the picture that just maybe that's going to be a little crowded car up there up front. How about Motown Diva? She draws into this race. She just wired last time going 45-3. They're going to be flying up front. Might be a good time to take a chance against at least the morning line favorite. That's the 2, No Other Like You. Late 4 goes in race number 6. We're at a flat 1-turn mile. Another starter optional claimer here. 3-year-old fillies going at it here. No scratches. There is a change on the 2. Noble Annie, Jesus Rios aboard at 120. Rios at 120 on the 2, Noble Annie. I'm going to show you Justina beating Starship Juliet last time. The margin was 3 lengths. The reality was it was probably about 8 or 10 lengths. Watch what happens to Justina down here. 6-5 in this spot. Mika Husbands is absolutely loaded for bear. He can't jump over the leader, so he's going to have to wait. Can't go through either because the door's going to get tightened a little bit. So what's he got to do? Got to wait some more. As Starship Juliet actually gets first run on him. He is loaded for bear, just screaming for room. And this is a really kudos to Mika here, a very patient ride on her because he knows what he's got underneath him. He waits. Look what he does there too. I love this move. It's really subtle. He comes through on the fence, and what's he do? Immediately when he's clear, guides her out into about the 6 path. And that is a real pro move right there because we know how sticky it can be down on the inside. So that's a guy that's doing everything right now. And he knows the racetrack too. You can come through inside, that's fine, but if you're going to try to come the length of the stretch on the inside, that's probably not going to work all that well. I don't think we're in that dead rail time that we were for a good 6-7 weeks in the championship meet, but on the end-all be-all, you don't really want to be down there, especially if you're at the vulnerability of somebody to the outside. That's a good job by Micah right there to get her out. She is so much the horse to beat today. I probably could have made her 3-5 in this race. I'm not going to do that, but she's 6-5 and very likely odds on. Can't take anything away from Starship Juliet, but if you watch that race, I think it's pretty obvious she was, we'll call it fortunate to be within 3 lengths of Justina. That's one of the reasons why I tried to split them. Lolo's Romance comes in from Tampa off 2 really easy, powerful wins. Is she as good as Justina? No way, but she comes in the right way, and I think you might get a little value underneath because a lot of people are probably going to just try to punch a 3-6 straight to the hoop. Race number 7 back on the turf in a state bred allowance, a 1X here. Good race. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Let's scratch out the 3, Celestial Express, along with the 9, and that is Slutty Princess. And I'm right back with my Denise. She was my long shot last time. She never really gave me a thrill, but she ran pretty well. She was second. She was a neck to the good of Bayou Bridget, who's down on the inside. Is a big player here for Sammy Camacho. I'm going to run it right back. I don't see a lot of new shooters in here that, at least on paper, are supposed to make a big dent into the two morning line favorites. You've got Bayou Bridget on the inside with the speed. You get Camacho as well taking over. She'll be on or just off the lead, while you've got My Denise, who is a little pace compromised for Ruben Sierra, who's overdue to get a win. But the barn's been going pretty good in 2026. I liked that turf run last time. I'm going to hope she gets there today for all of it. I think Lady River Lily, the 8-horse, while I don't have her in my mix, I think she could be a little bit of a problem for Bayou Bridget. I think that's another reason why My Denise could get flattered. Look how slow they went last time. They went 48-1 to the half mile, and the winner was third that day. You saw Bayou Bridget was running in third that day. You saw Bayou Bridget hang on too. The fact that My Denise split those two gals from 7th, I think that really flatters her run for sure. Rogue Runner, stretching out. We've talked about stretch out horses already today. She very likely, if they want to be aggressive off those sprint splits, she's been chasing and even setting on the turf 3-back. She's loose in here, or she's at least in front in here. And that could pose a little bit of a problem to some of these horses and jockeys. You get a horse out there that maybe if they really be aggressive and Jose Morelos wants to shake loose, could kind of put everybody behind the 8-ball a little bit. I think there's some hitting up front in here. I think it's going to flatter My Denise. Late double in race number 8. We're at 6 on a fast main track. $25,000 claimers here. 3-year-olds are 4 and up, which have never won 2 races. The only change is the ultimate one. The 2 Send Cash will run as a first-time gelding, and I'm not going to say they're giving them away for a quarter, because you still have to reach into your pocket and you got to come up with $25,000. It's easier said than done. But they have spotted Send Cash to score here for Dave Fawkes, the homebred for the Kleins. Dave's had this daughter, or the son, excuse me, of Mendelssohn, first-time gelding, for 3 starts now. He ran really well on the Tapeta, 3 starts back, and I don't know if something's gone amiss or what, but he's never been in for a tag, and he's been facing much, much better. And here you can have him for a quarter today. But what I like in his 2 turf races in his last 2 starts, I know he didn't fire in either of them. He faced fringe stakes kind of horses. I mean, Rizzo's Rolex is a stakes horse for sure. And then you got Boats a Rockin' and It's a Boss, and they could be fringe stakes horses. He still showed his speed too, and I think that's very, very important. He's been freshened up since then. He's worked forwardly. He's got a bullet on the Tapeta on April 5th. Come and catch him, I would think, on the main track. Down on the inside's the 1 Valdero. Don't even worry about his last start when he completely blew the brake. Look at the race 2 back. It was off the claim for Marcus Vitale, who's kind of getting his legs, set here again at Gulfstream Park, and it was a power 7-length win at Tampa. Now, he is a 3-year-old facing older horses today for the first time. That could be a little problematic. The rail is not ideal either, but the 1 start in the barn, and we know how good this barn can be at moving up horses, that was an absolute demolition job. So I think Valdero, if he can break again, we need a break now, and he's down on the rail. I think he's a big player in here. Step slow is probably a little more logical. I want to show you his race. I'm not going to pretend to tell you where I know it came from, because his 3 races prior to that were ridiculously bad. But this is, where are we going here? No, this is Lodato, I think, a little bit later on. So this is not the replay. I must have sent this over wrong. Scratch that, guys. That's my bad. Here we go. All right, we got it, right? Here we go. Here's Step Slow. Literally, where did it come from? Oh, thank you, guys. It came from upstairs. We appreciate it. Bob doing the hard work. Thank you, Bob. I don't have any idea where this race came from. Here's a horse that was beaten 25 lengths to start before, basically the same level. 8th, beaten 7.5 on the turf. 5th, beaten 10.25 on the main track. Where the heck did this come from? I don't know, but it was extremely impressive, and it was extremely fast, too. And if he runs this race back, now he is facing winners. This is $25,000 maiden claimers. This was the race where, for whatever reason, and I will never know, they bet Twin Lights off like a year layoff for some reason at 6-5. Very, very odd. But if Step Slow can double up And we talk a lot about facing winners can be a rude awakening. If he doubles up and you want to take that race at face value, he's a huge threat in here, and he's arguably the horse to beat because you don't really know what the form is of Send Cash, who, oh, by the way, has only run one time in his main track in his life. So take it for what it's worth, but if Step Slow repeats that effort, he's a big, big player in here, probably at a better price than maybe he should be because we just know the way they just bet blindly on the Fox runners in spots like these. Let's wrap it up on the turf. Boy, what a good turf race for the finale. We've got some darn good turf racing all week. I mentioned double stakes tomorrow with the Monroe and the Mr. Steele. A mile and a 16th on the turf. Again, the rail's at 59 feet. It's a $35,000 claimer. 3-year-olds are 4 and up, which is never won 3 or a dated 6 months on November the 15th. Kind of a big scratch. Scratch out the 4 Ruse. I don't know if they're going to bet my horse. I don't know if T at 1, my long shot, will qualify. 71, 33, and 50 to 1 this winter in the championship meet. Certainly didn't make a dent. Well, why didn't he make a dent? He was in against tons better in an overnight handicap and an optional claimer. That, you know, those races in the championship meet just dwarf this field. Freshened up. We move over to Steve Caceres, who's going good again. Like I said, we knew he would. Had a tough go of it during the championship meet. Seemingly has worked very forwardly for this. He has 4 solid works since Steve put him back on April the 20th. We've got a good post today. Raj is aboard. I like that. He rode him last time. He's going to be forward with this horse today. And you want to talk about a race there for the taking where you could close your eyes and throw the dart at the board. This is it right here. Let's take a look at the 2. Name It. He comes in off a dressed up 2L win, but you have to give him credit because we're facing a lot of horses, and I'm going to do the work here while we play this replay. Only one other horse in this 10-horse field comes in off a win. So that's huge. And I know Name It probably got set up, and he was 2 to 1, and he was feasting on maybe low-hanging fruit. I get all that. But he did do it the right way. He blasts off here by 3 1/4. The Hall of Famer Javier Castellano was aboard this day. Today we pick up the services of Sammy Camacho, and he's not losing anything there, I promise you that. This is a big win. Now, when you go from 25 2Ls up to 35 and a lot of seasoned professionals, the waters are a lot deeper. You got a horse like Palazzi, 6 lifetime wins. Happy Is as Happy Does, 7, and on and on and on. KC Chief, 9 career wins, and on and on and on. You know, you're going to face tougher today. But he comes in the right way, and he's got a good post, and he's got a good running style, too. He's going to be right involved throughout. Let's show you the 9 Baker Street and the 10 Walkin' in Memphis. They went at it 2 starts back for the Baker Street, and Walkin' in Memphis' last start. Baker Street's going to be beaten a half length. Well, let's look at the race, though. What's going on here? Who's running a tougher race? It's clearly Walking on Memphis because he's down on the inside dueling with a horse the entire way. And this horse he's dueling with ends up finishing dead last. I know there's only 5 horses, but this goes back to what I mentioned earlier. Winning the battle and losing the war. In Baker Street, okay, he had the winner's got the trouble. The winner's on the inside. Baker Street's got the run of the race, and he still can't win, and he still can't beat a troubled Sing Sing. I don't like that. And you're never going to get a better trip, and you're never going to get a better flow, and you're never going to get a better scenario than we just showed you there with the winner having way more trouble. Left a bad taste in my mouth, and I think that was kind of proven last time when Baker Street was a very flat 4th with another good trip, and you can see it. No punch inside. I'm a little against him today. I like Walking in Memphis better. Problem is there's a lot of pace in this race. Again, Palazzi's the wild card. I think Palazzi, he's your 4 to 1 morning line favorite. That's the kind of race this is. Who knows who's going to be favored, but that's who it is. He's got good turf form. He's been doing the Tapeta thing of late with very fast figures. He's going to like this group a lot. The horses he was facing on the turf, way, way better of late. Well, there's 9 of them for you. Rainbow in race 4 starts fresh. Let's take a look at the lightning round as we do each and every Friday now. We'll look at the standings. And things have tightened up, and I think that's pretty cool. I think these are going to be the names that we're going to see. I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but Sammy Camacho seems to be here, and that's a good thing for him for sure. He's got 27 wins. Miguel keeps on keeping on. We've talked about Diego Herrera a lot. How good of a job has he done? Very impressive. Safi and Victor Barboza tied atop the leaderboard at 14 apiece. I mentioned Preakness 151 tomorrow. I'll talk more about it. I'll bang out a quick video. Wow, what a betting race. I was up there for the draw on Monday. I think there's a 7-2 morning line favorite, which I completely don't understand at all, but that's Iron Honor. But here's Taj Mahal, the local hope, just running off the screen in the Federico Tessio. He's got versatility. He's 3 for 3 for Brittany Russell. We saw Cherie DeVoe win the Kentucky Derby as the first female. Well, Brittany Russell could do the same with the Preakness. And what else does Taj Mahal have? He's got 3 wins at Laurel Park. Not one horse in the race, not one of his 13 rivals, has ever even run at Laurel Park. That is a really, really big deal. Looking forward to that tomorrow. They've got an awesome card today as well. Silks will be open early. That's a 10:30 post tomorrow. Safi's got the aces tomorrow in the Monroe. Certainly with the C2 horse, Silver Moonlight, but also I like him in the Mr. Steele with Grand Orientate as well, the newcomer. This is him winning at Santa Anita very impressively. He's going to be a first-timer in the barn. Look at these horses in this spot here. When you're beating Cabo Spirit and you're beating Astronomer, this is a good effort. I think this is actually going to be the stakes race here. Yeah, this is still a very, very good effort. Yeah, 30-1. Safi taking over now. I think he's dangerous in the barn. We've got the Coast to Coast. We've got the Sunset back today with our sister track at Santa Anita. Those are going to be a lot of fun as well. The Overlaid City, as our buddy Pete upstairs says. Look at the Sunset, 23,000. That says it might be a double carryover to me. They'll send that in. The Coast to Coast is in race 8 today. That's a fun one as well. 5 races, 2 here, 3 at Santa Anita. My best bet today is very, very low hanging, but if you need a single, it could be Justina in race 6. I'll take you to the end with my long shot. That is the 1, and that is T at 1 for Steve Claceris. I'm done. Pete's upstairs. Good 9-pack for you today. Have fun and best of luck.
At the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance,